What's up everybody, Coach John back with you again for another video on how to set up your diet for long-term success. So in the previous videos we've set up pretty much all the basics, all the essentials. Now we're getting into the things where people tend to lose a lot of sleep over stuff that really doesn't matter. And today we're going to talk about fats, dietary fats, the other kind of fat. Maybe when you grew up you were inculcated with ideas that fat makes you fat. You gotta eat low-fat foods to lose fat. And as with so much garbage fitness advice, there's a grain of truth in that. High-fat foods are higher in calories. There's 9 calories in a gram of fat as opposed to 4 calories in a gram of carbs or protein. But fats have essential vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids that are essential to optimal hormone production, balance, mood, cognitive ability, joint, tissue, bone, muscle health. We need our fats. Now, a lot of times people make a divide between good fats and bad fats. I'm not here to do that. Nothing is forbidden, nothing is sinful. There's no one kind of fat that if you ingest it, it's going to magically add calories to your day that you didn't eat. If your calorie deficit is locked in, you're gonna lose weight in the long run. But first, let's talk about the amount of fat you want in your diet. The recommendations here vary, but the point in all of them that I've ever seen is to not let your fat levels get too low. That is far more of a concern than your fat levels being too high. If you are a female and you're going below 40 grams of fat a day, you really want to take another look at that. Really check in with yourself and make sure that that's what you want to be doing. If you're a man, if you're going below 50, 45, depending on your weight, you really want to be careful at that threshold as well. For optimal performance, a good recommendation I've seen is 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, that would work out to be 60 grams, right? So roughly in that same ballpark, and that's your bottom level. You might find that you actually do quite well at the low end of healthful fat intake, that 60, 50 grams. A lot of people report feeling better at slightly higher. And this is why going online and looking for the perfect macro split for fat loss is a total boondoggle. It's a waste of your time. The perfect macro split for fat loss is the macro split that gets you to feel the best and perform the best in your workouts so you can burn more calories and so you can feel good and stay on your diet and get good rest. And the way you figure this out, focus on your protein. Get your protein. And then fill out the rest of your calories with a baseline of fat. And then from there, it's just fats or carbs or protein as you like. As I said before, there are no evil fats. In fact, some of the fats you've been told to avoid are actually super beneficial, very healthful, very nutrient dense. Even when you're eating foods that have saturated fat in them, the actual total calories coming from saturated fat in many of those foods like grass-fed beef or eggs is below 10%. And that's the magic number with saturated fat. Your body can put this stuff to use. Same with cholesterol. Cholesterol acts as the substrate to our sex hormones, estrogen and testosterone. So don't be afraid of animal fats. Don't be afraid of having a fatty piece of meat instead of a lean piece of meat, right? The normal diet advice is to seek out lean protein, and I do that most of the time, but sometimes the protein source you feel like eating is a fattier source, and that's totally fine. Instead of having chicken breast and avocado, you have a bratwurst, right? Maybe the calories end up being the exact same, but it's what you felt like eating, and it gives you that much more agency over your diet, which is great for long-term compliance. Personally, I find that myself and clients tend to respond better, they feel better, they perform better when they're getting their fats from whole food sources. They're not getting their fat content from where it says on the box of Cheez-Its there's X amount of fat in a serving. Like, that fat is probably about as useless as fats can get. Right, I said I wasn't going to demonize any one type of fat, but maybe that one we ought to. Great sources of fat are olive oil, avocado, nuts, fatty fish like salmon. You can buy avocado oil mayonnaise. As mayonnaise, it might taste a little bit funky, but I use it to make salad dressings and a bunch of other stuff. Other great sources of fat are a fish oil supplement. If you're taking fish oil, add it to your macros because that has calories, and those fats contribute to your daily intake. Salmon is kind of expensive and it's not my favorite thing to eat, so what I've started doing is actually shelling out for the slightly more expensive fish oil that actually comes in liquid form. I get that Carlson's, whatever, it comes in like a little old-timey brown glass bottle, which is kind of sweet. And I just take a little swig of that every morning, about a teaspoon, serving, 40 calories. Eggs are fantastic. I mean, they got protein, they've got tons of vitamins and minerals, including some that are a little hard to find in most people's diets. Eggs are money. Another upgrade I've made in my grocery buying is going more for grass-fed beef, because I'm more comfortable eating the fat, say from ground beef, when it's from grass-fed beef, because the fat has a lot more nutritional value. And I actually prefer to get my fats from that. I feel fantastic. My recovery is better. And so I'm eating less avocado or olive oil and just having the fat that comes with the protein that I prefer. In the fitness space, low-fat options are very popular for good reason. They're lower calorie. But things like yogurt, you don't have to eat the low-fat or no-fat version. Non-fat Greek yogurt is a staple in my diet, but there have been times where I've opted for the higher fat version and used a dairy source as a source of fat. There's nothing wrong with that. Tell me in the comments below, what's your favorite fat? I want to know what everybody's favorite fat is. And it doesn't have to be a diet fat, because there is no such thing as diet fat or not diet fat. I mean, you can eat bacon on your diet, okay? I said it. I think my favorite fat, though, is grass-fed beef fat. So what's the optimal amount of fat intake for fat loss? Any amount over the baseline that gets you feeling your best, that has your digestion working the best, your sleep, recovery. Some people feel that higher fat intake stabilizes their hunger levels over the day. They don't experience as many swings. Your mileage will vary, but if you feel like experimenting, please do. Fat is our friend. It's just a high calorie friend, It's like that friend that they're really fun when you go out with them, but you always end up spending about twice as much money as you wanted to when you go out to the club with them. Fat's kind of like that. There's a YouTube coach who I really enjoy. His name is Abel Szabai, something like that. It's a Hungarian last name. Sorry if I butchered that, Abel. And he once said infamously, nuts can go fuck themselves, because he's just seen nut intake ruin many a diet. They're easy to eat, and sometimes it's hard to stop. And that's why I like to, especially with my fats, have them in meals rather than snack form, unless it's portioned out and I can't eat extra, because 3 extra almonds can be more calories than you realize, and stuff adds up over the day. So you don't have to cut the fat. Fat is our friend, and finding the sweet spot for you is going to help you stay in your calorie deficit in a consistent and less stressed manner. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you got any value out of this, please hit that like button. And if you do comment down below, it will help the algorithm. I really appreciate it. It's how we're gonna get YouTube to share these videos with other people. Let me know what you'd like me to do my next video on. I love taking ideas from you guys. You can head over to the Facebook page at Lose Weight with John for no cost support. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, you can email me at johnoakescoaching@gmail.com. That's all for today. See you in the next video.